Chosen one. If you're watching this video today, it's not by accident. The energy of the waning moon in Virgo is activating something deep and invisible, a divine alignment with your mission of prosperity. We are in the final days of an energetic cycle, and before a new portal opens, God is asking something very clear of those who have awakened. Organize yourself. Cleanse. Honor the details. If you've been feeling financial blocks, unexpected losses, or that strange sense that the flow of abundance has simply stopped, this is not a coincidence. This phase is the exact moment when the universe tests your ability to structure the invisible with faith and discipline. Spreadsheets, goals, bills, habits, everything that seems small is being observed spiritually. Because the details you neglect in the physical are sabotaging your calling in the spiritual. And if you continue to ignore this, something may be lost. A project, an opportunity, a divine delivery. That's why I implore you, stay until the end of this video. You often speak of abundance as if it's just around the corner, close enough to feel, yet never quite tangible. Deep down, you know you're capable of more, but something remains unsettled. Bills stack up, spreadsheets are ignored, and your goals, they shift like fog. The waning moon in Virgo now reflects what your soul already suspects. Wealth is attracted to order. And maybe, just maybe, it's not the universe that's out of alignment, but your systems. There's a subtle conflict inside you. Part of you dreams of overflow, while another part avoids looking at your numbers. It's not that you don't care, it's that you've been moving too fast to truly see. Virgo's energy is meticulous, grounded, and real. It doesn't shame you, but it does ask, how can abundance enter if your space, your time, your habits aren't ready to receive it? Your inner hero is being called, not to fight, but to organize. You are not lazy. You are not lost. But without structure, even the most powerful intentions leak energy. There's something sacred about knowing your exact income, tracking every expense, refining your goals until they feel like truth. This lunar phase invites you to do what most avoid. Look directly at what you've postponed. If the soul wants to rise, the foundation must be firm. You've said you trust life to provide, and in many ways, it already has. But what will you do with that trust? Will you honor it with spreadsheets updated, cards paid on time, dreams written down clearly? Or will you let opportunity pass through hands unprepared to hold it? The waning moon in Virgo doesn't punish, it clarifies. And your awakening begins in the numbers you've been avoiding. There's a part of you that thrives in ambition. You dream vividly, speak boldly about goals, and truly want to elevate your financial reality. But another part, quieter, often unnoticed, sabotages progress through delay, avoidance, or distraction. This inner split isn't failure, it's a call. The waning moon in Virgo doesn't demand perfection, it awakens clarity. The hero within you isn't afraid of action, your history proves that. But what this moon reveals is that your abundance isn't blocked by lack of desire, it's blocked by disorganization. You can't build a temple on a scattered foundation. And sometimes, the most courageous act is to sit down and sort what you've been ignoring. Power lives in precision. Maybe you've told yourself it's just a phase, or that you'll get to it soon. But soon has stretched into months, or years, for some things. Virgo whispers the truth you already sense. Abundance isn't just emotional, it's structural. Alignment means knowing your income, refining expenses, naming your goals like sacred promises. The universe supports what's ready to expand. This is your moment to make space. Not just mentally, but practically, line by line, number by number. Reclaim your role as steward of your own abundance. Prosperity doesn't avoid the details, it resides in them. And this moon, quiet and introspective, asks you, what kind of future are you organizing for? And when will you finally choose to be ready for it? You often say you're ready for more income, more stability, more growth. But readiness isn't just about belief, it's about environment. If your finances are scattered, delayed, or unclear, the universe mirrors that chaos. The waning moon in Virgo shines a soft light on what's been overlooked. And right now, your soul doesn't need more effort, it needs more intention. There is something profoundly grounding about facing your financial truth without fear. No story, no excuse, just facts. Virgo brings the kind of quiet wisdom that doesn't shout, but corrects gently. It shows you how disorganization chips away at your power, silently. This moon phase is not about judgment. It's about liberation through structure. You are not here to live in survival mode. You're here to build, to lead, to expand, and that requires systems that support your vision. Order is not control. It's respect for what you've already received. Start where you are. Update one sheet. Clarify one goal. Track one habit. When your actions reflect trust, abundance responds with movement. In this cycle, the true hero is not the one who does more, but the one who chooses better. Small steps now shift larger forces ahead. This is your alignment moment, where clarity meets calling. Let the waning moon in Virgo guide your hand. Prosperity isn't coming someday. It's waiting for you to create a place for it, today. You've been taught that working harder is the path to prosperity. And to be fair, you've lived that belief, showing up, staying late, doing more. But the waning moon in Virgo invites a different lens. What if effort alone isn't the answer? What if you're not lacking discipline, just direction? This phase peels back the illusion that productivity equals progress. The truth? Without clarity, you're building momentum in circles. There's an archetypal shift happening inside you now. The inner hero, once forged in survival and hustle, begins to awaken to a higher call, strategic action. Virgo doesn't applaud chaos disguised as commitment. It favors structure, refinement, and intention. If you're always exhausted, constantly pushing, rarely pausing, this moon gently challenges you. Is your effort creating outcomes, or just burnout dressed in motion? Planning isn't a punishment. It's how you honor what you say you want. Updating spreadsheets, revisiting contracts, mapping your goals in tangible steps. These aren't boring tasks. They are acts of alignment. They say to the universe, I'm not just wishing for more. I'm preparing for it. When you operate with intention, even your rest becomes productive because it fits into a larger rhythm. This moment isn't asking you to do more. It's asking you to do it differently. To replace frantic effort with focused presence. To allow Virgo's precision to shape your path instead of wearing exhaustion as a badge of honor. The waning moon is a window, subtle, temporary, but powerful. If you choose to revise your habits now, you're not starting over. You're stepping into the version of yourself that knows where they're going and why. You've always carried a sense of determination that others admire. When something needs to get done, you don't wait. You move, you solve, you act. But somewhere along the way, movement turned into noise. Progress became confused with pressure. And now, under the waning moon in Virgo, you're being asked to pause. Not because you're doing too little, but because you're doing too much without a map. Virgo's wisdom is quiet, but it cuts through illusions. It doesn't reward hustle for hustle's sake. It rewards refinement, recalibration, realignment. This lunar phase doesn't scold you for your drive. It honors it by showing where it's leaking. You're not failing. You're just scattering energy in 10 directions when 3 would be enough. Success isn't about volume. It's about precision. What if the real upgrade in your finances isn't in earning more, but in managing better what's already flowing through your hands? This moon invites you to review your numbers, your contracts, your timelines, not with shame, but with strategy. A spreadsheet isn't just math, it's a mirror. And when you look into it with clarity, your next move becomes obvious. Planning is how intuition sharpens into decision. The hero within you is evolving. No longer fueled solely by urgency, they now seek mastery. This is the season to create structure that supports expansion. Let Virgo guide you back to the basics. Clear goals, conscious spending, aligned effort. The shift isn't loud. It's subtle, intelligent, lasting. And it begins when you stop glorifying exhaustion and start honoring intention. You have a beautiful way of believing. You trust in the flow of life, speak of abundance with certainty, and hold on to the idea that things will work out. And yet, as the waning moon moves through Virgo, a deeper truth surfaces. Belief without structure leads to stagnation. You've spoken affirmations, lit candles, envisioned success. But have you opened the bills? Tracked the payments? Faced the parts of money you'd rather spiritualize than manage? This moon doesn't question your faith. It questions your follow-through. It asks if your financial rituals are matched by real action. Do you check your balances regularly or avoid them to protect your mood? Do you track your income and expenses or just hope that things align? Virgo invites you to infuse your faith with method. Because real magic, in this season, looks like discipline. The hero within you is evolving past inspiration. You're not just here to believe, you're here to build. That starts with choosing not to turn away from numbers that feel uncomfortable. They're not punishment, they're direction. When you engage with your finances deliberately, your spiritual path expands. The universe responds not only to energy, but to evidence of readiness. Faith without organization becomes fantasy, but faith with structure becomes a force. This is not about becoming rigid. It's about becoming reliable to yourself, your vision, and the abundance you're calling in. Use this Virgo moon to bring order where there's been avoidance. Sort, list, track, commit. Not because you're afraid, but because you're done pretending clarity doesn't matter. Let your actions match your intentions. Let your spirituality meet your spreadsheets. That's where the shift begins. You speak of money with reverence, treating abundance as something sacred, guided by intuition and faith. And in many ways, that has served you. But now, under the influence of the waning moon in Virgo, the energy shifts from belief to structure. You're being asked a simple yet uncomfortable question. Can you hold what you've been asking for? The universe doesn't deny your desires. It simply waits for evidence that you're prepared to receive. This lunar phase isn't about doubt. It's about alignment. You may be journaling about wealth, visualizing overflow, and trusting the process, yet silently avoiding overdue balances, dodging notifications, or leaving investments unchecked. That gap between intention and action is where your growth lives now. Virgo doesn't disrupt your faith, it refines it. It turns vague hope into grounded clarity. Routines become rituals when infused with awareness. Tracking payments, honoring deadlines, and facing numbers without fear are not mundane tasks. They are forms of devotion. When you show up for your finances consistently, you anchor your energy in reality. You're no longer wishing, you're demonstrating. And that consistency becomes magnetic. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present with what's true. This moment offers you a turning point. You can keep believing and hoping, or you can step into a quieter kind of power, the kind that updates budgets, sets reminders, and reviews accounts with calm intention. Prosperity doesn't respond to chaos. It flows where there's space, order, and stewardship. Let this moon guide you back to the numbers, not to limit you, but to support everything you're ready to create. There's a part of you that deeply believes things will fall into place, that as long as your heart is in the right space, money will follow. And while intention matters, the waning moon in Virgo brings a quieter, wiser perspective. Abundance requires more than hope. It asks for habits, the kind of habits that don't just dream of wealth, but track it, manage it, respect it down to the cent. It's easy to spiritualize money when looking away feels safer. But what if the universe is simply waiting for you to pay attention to what you've been avoiding? Not from a place of fear, but from one of readiness. Virgo energy isn't about control, it's about clarity. It doesn't want you to fix everything overnight. It simply invites you to begin one overdue payment, one budget line, one truth at a time. This isn't about rejecting your faith. It's about strengthening it through structure. When you align your spiritual beliefs with practical behaviors, you stop feeling like you're chasing abundance and start feeling like you're holding it. Rechecking investments, reviewing bills, mapping income isn't a chore. It's a signal to life itself. A signal that says, I'm no longer avoiding. I'm engaging. Let this moon be the moment you return to what you've postponed. Not with guilt, but with maturity. You can still believe in miracles. Just make space for them in your calendar and your finances. The transformation you're seeking isn't somewhere out there. It's already unfolding in the way you choose to show up today. Thoughtfully, practically, fully. You've made mistakes with money. We all have. Whether it was spending from emotion, ignoring bills too long, or chasing short-term relief instead of long-term vision, those moments don't define you. But they do speak, quietly, honestly, about where healing is needed. The waning moon in Virgo doesn't drag you backward. It offers a mirror, a chance to look clearly, without shame, and say, I'm ready to do this differently. Rebuilding doesn't begin with perfection. It begins with awareness. Maybe there are debts to face, missed goals to revisit, or financial habits that no longer reflect who you're becoming. Virgo energy supports cleanup, not as punishment, but as realignment. It's a subtle call to restore your integrity with money, to reconnect with the part of you that values consistency, clarity, and conscious responsibility. You're allowed to evolve beyond old patterns. Just because you once felt out of control doesn't mean you're destined to stay there. The moment you choose to act with awareness, canceling that unused subscription, setting a reminder, revising a goal, you start rewriting your financial story. Reorganization isn't just logistical. It's spiritual. It tells life that you're no longer avoiding abundance. You're preparing for it. Let this moon be the reset button you've quietly needed. Start small. One list, one adjustment, one new habit. These choices aren't random. They're rooted in a deeper knowing that you're ready to move forward with more peace, more order, and more alignment. You're not behind. You're just on the edge of a season that requires clarity and rewards it. Somewhere along the way, you may have felt overwhelmed by your finances, like things slipped through the cracks faster than you could fix them. Maybe you ignored a balance, forgot a due date, or made choices from pressure instead of clarity. These moments don't make you irresponsible. They make you human. And now, under the waning moon in Virgo, you're offered something rare, the chance to reorganize without guilt. This isn't about starting over with some flawless plan. It's about slowing down long enough to see what's actually happening. Virgo energy doesn't shame, it reveals. It gently asks, what can you simplify? What can you pause, cancel, reframe? Clarity isn't about having all the answers. It's about being willing to face what's in front of you with honesty. From there, your momentum becomes real again. The truth is, avoiding doesn't protect you, it drains you. And you may already feel how that avoidance has quietly chipped away at your energy. Reorganizing your financial life is less about fixing and more about reclaiming. It's about standing back in the role of decision maker, not just reactor. You don't need to control everything, but you do need to meet your reality with presence. This moon phase is a sacred pause, a window to gather what's been scattered. Begin with one simple act. Review a statement. List your recurring expenses. Update a forgotten goal. These aren't small things. They are acts of empowerment, acts that signal to life. I'm ready to move forward consciously. And with Virgo's quiet support, that movement becomes not just possible, but lasting. You don't need to erase your past to create a better financial future. The truth is, many of your past missteps were made during moments of survival, confusion, or emotional weight. That doesn't make you broken, it makes you real. Now, with the waning moon in Virgo, there's an invitation to step into gentle accountability, not to fix everything overnight, but to begin organizing your energy around what truly matters. Virgo doesn't expect perfection, it honors progress. And progress, in this moment, looks like revisiting what you once avoided. Are there expenses you haven't reviewed? Goals you've abandoned because things didn't go as planned? This moon asks you to bring light into those forgotten corners. You don't need to punish yourself to move forward. You just need to take ownership, one clear step at a time. The act of reorganizing isn't about the numbers alone. It's about restoring your relationship with stability. When you sort through what's outdated, make conscious cuts, or reestablish financial boundaries, you're not just managing money. You're creating space for security. You deserve to feel safe in your financial world. And that safety begins when you become honest, consistent, and intentional again. Let this be the season where you simplify, where you stop overcomplicating what you know needs your care. A spreadsheet updated, a goal revised, a budget cleaned. None of it is small. These are sacred actions disguised as admin. With the clarity Virgo brings, your systems can become stronger than your doubts. This isn't about returning to who you were. It's about becoming someone more grounded than ever before.